Welcome back on Dynamo. Today I want to propose you the analysis about the updates of the facts for Warhammer Age of Sigmar released the 17 December 2018 by the Games Workshop for the Battletome Legions of Nagash, the Battletome Nighthaunts, and some other little issues that are anyway involving the Grand Alliance's staff. So something that you can develop some things about it. But anyway, I wanted to remember you that these are updates. So if you want to see the previous fact that I'm not talking about, but I yet talked about, you can find in the description the link to the folders of YouTube that you can find all the videos related to. They are organized in date, so you not have problem to find them for date. This one has been a compact video because there has been released few facts of each one of the Battletome, so it was useless to do such thing for each of the Battletome, so I prefer to collect them as a referee. But anyway, the other ones you can find in the description, so not worry about it. So now we can begin with the Legions of Nagash Battletome facts. These are the commentary ones, so we can start with the commentaries. And the first thing that we can find is a commentary about the deathless minion usages, and it says that it can be applied only once for any hero, not for each hero that it's within 12 inch of the model, but simply it was as such in the text itself, so I don't understand the fact itself, and as someone can misunderstand the meaning of the text itself. Anyway, if there is someone that misunderstood such a thing, now as it explained, so not worry about it and simply apply as it is, simply as it is written. The second one, instead, it's quite important because it's related to the cover from. It's a lot of years that GW hasn't explained such thing, and before such explaining such fact, you have to understand that it was to be used in another way, because it's referring this fact to the cover from and how has treated the parts about the cover from as a mount. Before such fact, it was really legal to use the maidens and the spectral host as models that are not a mount. Instead, now, with such a fact, we can find that the head maintenance and the spectral host are treated as mounts for the proposed use. So now it's explained and there are not any more problems about such a thing. So some things that I said in the videos related to the Legions of Nagash Battletome and their usages is changed because now there is this fact that update and modified the rules about it. So you have to remember that this change also the way that you can use the general traits, so the warlord traits. So pay attention to such a thing. About the artifacts, I don't think that it changed quite a lot because I don't think someone really got to use the artifacts on the head maidens and the spiritual hosts, even if it was possible before such a fact. But now it has been cleared, so there are not possible to misunderstand or say something different. Before it was one thing, now it's changed and it's as it's applied, simply it. The third fact instead it's a sort of silly thing because it's related to the model of the Nighthaunt Black Coach or the model of the Legions Black Coach. And simply I found it's really silly that you have to have the opponent agree to use the model of the Nighthaunt Black Coach for the usage of the Legions Black Coach, because the previous model it's not anymore available too, so it's really a silly thing as a fact, because you had to have the agree when it's the only model that you can find to play both, and moreover you have to understand that the previous model was cheaper than this new one. So anyway, I don't understand. It's not about using the rules, about using the model. So I really don't understand. Anyway, simply I hope that your opponent is not as cheap as this fact, because this fact it's completely useless in my opinion. But anyway, there is, so forget about it. Try not to remember about it, because I found that it's not not correct about it. Really, it's a useless fact. It's one that I think that you can really forget and not have any problem with your conscience about it. And now we can start talking about and finish talking about the facts for the Legions of Nagash, the errata in this case. And we can find only one thing that has changed. And it's related about the Guardians of Souls that you can add to the Legions of Nagash from the Nighthaunt Battletome. And this it involved the use of the Guardian of Souls with Mortary Glass and the Guardians of Souls with Nightmare Lanterns, cause had been released another model, so the previous referring was not correct, so you would not have been able to use one of such models. Now has been distinct the two models, because there are two different models as two different units, and now you can use both of them without any problem. So simply it's a thing that allow you to use both of them, otherwise you do not be able to use one of them. So simply it's been added and specified. So it's good thing, and simply finish here. So about these facts, about the Legions of Nagash Battletome, simply I found them a bit not completely good. They are good because there has been done, and the cover from one was quite important one, and it was a lot of time that it was needed. But for example, the one about the Black Coach is simply crazy. And I want to remind you that what has not been done good about such facts, it's about the Death March Mongol Battalion that has not been put on end. The crazy thing about it, it's again, or better, it's continuously something that it's paradoxal for the rules in the facts and the rules in the commentary, because they work using two different relating things. So it's something that really it's quite crazy about. But anyway, for now are such things, so we take note about them. And now we can start talking about the facts about the Nighthaunt. About the Nighthaunt, the only fact that we can find it's about the same one that we found in the Legions of Nagash Battletome, and it's related to the saving of the models for the Deathless Spirit, in this case instead of the Deathless Minions. And it's applying the Deathless Spirits to only once for any heroes around. So you can't apply once for each hero, but once for any hero that you can have in the range. So it's something that it's okay that there is, and something that it was too understandable that it was so. But anyway, it's done, it's put on here, so we can finish talking about this thing, because it's done. So there are not any more misunderstandings that can happen about the applying of such rule. Another important thing that we can find about the facts that have been released is in the core rules at page 6, the first column, and it's a fact related to the slain models, and it says that if a model has later returned to a unit after that it's slain, if its count has been slain, and if it's cut again, it will count as slain twice, and it counts. So it can be really quite important in the case you have scenarios that make you count the losses and so on. So pay attention to such fact in that cases, because it can be really quite interesting and can change quite a lot the efforts that you can put on your army and your renewing. And cause death with all the Battletome that has the option to revive a lot of models, it's okay to take note about such thing. So take note about such rule, such fact, because can be quite interesting this one. And another thing that has been added for the core rules and base size of facts, it's at page 5. It has been added the size of the Mongol, that it's 60mm base one. So it's around 1, so it has simply specified which base it has. Simply it. And now I want to talk about a fact that it's related to the Marine Sorcery, that it's really quite important, because change some of the tactics that I talked about in my previous videos about death, and it's really quite important because it changed the usage of the artifact of power of the relics of Ulgu, that it's doppelganger cloak, that now it's only once for battle usages. So it can change quite a lot of things, because before you could have prevented some models to die, putting them in close combat and making the way that they were not being shaded apart by the opponent's units. So it can be really quite interesting as thing, because you could prevent some units to attack and forbid them to make some mess around. Now it's only once per battle, so it changed quite a lot of things about the usages of a lot of roosters that I know that are about death. And not only death, because it applies to all the armies, but death were quite suitable to use such an artifact. So take note about such thing, because it's really quite an important one to take note about. So what to say about such facts? I say that there can be really quite interesting one. There can be quite changing in the way that you rule and play your army on the field. So I suggest you to read all of them, because they can be really quite interesting ones. And I want to remember you that I brought you the fact official ones about death and the ones that I thought that were useful for the death talking about. But if you find some other facts that you can think that can be useful or can change the way that you can play the death, I suggest you to comment under here in the way to have discussions about them, so that we can evolve the talking about such type of army, and we can talk what things that can be useful. So, from Dino Mode, it's everything. I invite you to put a like on this video, to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell, and to comment this video if you are interested in something about this video or you want to suggest me some arguments for other videos. I hope to see you again. To the next time.